Good morning, Blue Jays fans, and welcome to another edition of Jay's Latest. I am your host, Craig Borden, and we're going to talk all things Toronto Blue Jays baseball with a slight beginning detour today because it would be unprofessional and unfun to, especially when he finished his Blue Jays career or his career with the Toronto Blue Jays. That is, just want to give a shout out to the family for Dave Parker. Rest in peace, Cobra. You were one of the most fiercest hitters in your generation. It was very cool to see you finish your career with the Blue Jays. Unfortunately, it didn't last too long, but you obviously made some huge impressions on some of your teammates in the Toronto Blue Jays organization while you were there. All sorts of Blue Jays have come out onto social media over the last 24 hours to, pay their respects to a insanely good hitter and one of the best outfielders in Major League Baseball because he's going to be in the Hall of Fame this coming weeks, actually. The 2025 inductee, as I mentioned, was one of the fiercest uh, hitters in Major League Baseball during his generation. Part of the We Are Family version of the Pittsburgh Pirates is what he's best known for. The 1978 MVP, unfortunately, is no longer with us at the age after the passing yesterday at the age of 74. One I want to mention is that Todd Stottlemyre, who's been on my other podcast a bunch of times, um, he would said it was only 30 days that they played together, but it was like 10 years worth of laughs. So if that gives you a, you know, collective of measurement of how much this man was feared at the plate, but was a great person anywhere else. Major League Baseball just lost a key member of their family. So best of wishes to the Parker family. I hope that the day of the Baseball Hall of Fame induction is not too hard for you, seeing it's only in a few weeks here, but much well deserved. He should have been in a lot sooner. A monster career, like I said, 1978 NL MVP. He was a top five finisher in the MVP five times, two-time World Series champ, um, seven All-Star games. It's just never ending. um, in this one whole thing. And one of our friends, not Gaetti, actually mentioned that he swung a sledgehammer more than a bat during his play bat warming up, and that's an interesting piece to it too, because obviously that is a one way to warm up instead of having a donut on your bat. So, best of wishes to anybody that knew Dave. All respects in the world for a great man, great ball player. So let's stay with the Pittsburgh Pirates theme because the Blue Jays have been rumored to be sniffing around for obviously starting pitchers, as we have talked about on this show many times. There's two pitchers on the Pittsburgh Pirates that are likely to be traded before the end of the season, as Andrew Heaney and Mitch Keller. I like the Mitch Keller idea a ton better than I do like Andrew Heaney. Heaney has always been one of those guys that's on my fantasy baseball team, and he just feels like he ruins me every time I pick him up. He's been very up and down over the years. He is currently in a down after giving up two consecutive games where he's allowed 7 earned runs to the Detroit Tigers and the Milwaukee Brewers. You don't need him to be amazing. We need a fifth starter from Andrew Heaney if you're trading for him. The bigger question is, are you going to get more long term out of him, or are you going to get more long term out of Eric Lauer? Right now is about depth. That spot has to be filled with somebody that knows how to get innings through. And Andrew Heaney could be one of those guys. He was doing really, really good before he ran into the Tigers and the Brewers. Has significantly inflated his ERA to where it is currently now 4.48. He is currently just under one win above replacement, 3-7 record in 86 innings. So something there. And the nice thing about him is he's just a rental, so he doesn't have to stay at Toronto Blue Jay after this season. So he might be on the cheaper side unless somebody gets into a bidding war with us over the price for him. Mitch Keller, however, currently on a 5-year, $77 million deal. And he would be, if you traded for him, he'd be a Blue Jay through the 2028 season. So right now, the beautiful thing on that is he has a 1.3 WAR, which is significantly higher than Heaney. His record doesn't look good at 2-10, but that's the Pirates. 17 games started. He's got 99 innings, 77 strikeouts with a 3.9 ERA. Significantly better. And he's been looking great over his last four starts. He has not allowed more than 3 earned runs in his last four starts. And the last one was one against the New York Mets and two against the Texas Rangers and the Chicago Cubs. And you all know what the Chicago Cubs are doing. So being able to hold them in check is quite interesting. At least it keeps them in the game. So I think Keller would also be a nice mix to be put in with this Toronto Blue Jays rotation versus Heaney because it's a little bit of a different look. And yeah, I just think that's the Blue Jays obviously need to be looking at pitching. The other catches, if you wanted to, you keep the lefty with Heaney. I'm not a big fan of righty versus lefty when I'm picking up a rotation. I'm about getting outs. And right now, I think Mitch Keller could help us get just as many, if not more, as that we're getting from Eric Lawler, and at least have that depth to that point. Eric Lawler has established himself as a major league starter. So I think that would help. So we got to unfortunately talk about yesterday afternoon. Blue Jays were clearly blinded by the weird Boston Marathon style City Connect jerseys that the Boston Red Sox were wearing yesterday. Those bright yellow jerseys, obviously, really running around the pillows yesterday, and the Blue Jays lost 15-1. Addison Barger picking up the lone RBI on one hit. Everybody else held to 6 hits total yesterday, and we did not get a lot of extra base runners with only 3 walks. There was not a lot to move around the pillows yesterday. The Blue Jays somehow did go 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position, but we more or less got beaten up really, really quickly by Willer Abreu. Abreu just walked all over the Blue Jays pitching yesterday. 2 for 6, 4 RBIs, including the home run that got it all started as he wrapped one around Penske Pole in right field. If you have not seen what Penske Pole is, I highly recommend you look that up in the Boston Red Sox Fenway Park. It is a really, really close pole. You can literally wrap it around. It comes around like this to the point where the outfield wall makes it something you can actually scoot the ball around. Not a monster blast by any means, but it was a 3-run home run off of Chris Bassett to get this game started for the Boston Red Sox, and it did not get any better. 9 runs, 8 of those earned during 2 innings for Chris Bassett. His season ERA jumps to 4.29. He was under 4, just to put that in perspective. Only got 3 strikeouts, 4 walks, and like I said, just really, really rough day for Chris Bassett. Brandon Fisher comes in, cleans it up for a little bit, gets the Blue Jays, some chance of looking at this because it didn't really escalate until later in the innings. But the Red Sox continued to just bury the Blue Jays those few innings, as I mentioned. But Paxton Schultz, Mason Fluharty, and Tyler Heineman, position player pitching, each gave up some runs, but Heineman, I expect. I don't know what he was throwing. I got to check those highlights out. I didn't see that part of the game, unfortunately, when I was mowing my lawn. Mason Fluharty gave up a pair, and so did Paxton Schultz with 3. Each of them giving up a home run. It was a good day for the Red Sox. That's all I'm going to say. So, moving forward, though, the Blue Jays obviously will continue to play the Red Sox in Fenway Park. This afternoon, it is going to be Eric Lawler versus Walker Buehler. So, Buehler. Blue Jays currently sitting at 3rd place with 44 and 38. The Red Sox currently not out of it yet with a record of 41 and 43. Yesterday was the Red Sox style of baseball. Hit a few home runs when you can, cause chaos on the bases, hope to pitch good enough. Yesterday, all 3 of those things clicked really, really well for the Boston Red Sox. Today, with Walker Buehler on the mound, it might be a little harder to do that. The gentleman currently has a 6.29 ERA. He is known for having monster strikeouts and all these kind of things, but he has had 2 insanely rough outings against the Seattle Mariners and the Los Angeles Angels. He allowed 8 earned runs to Seattle, 5 to the Angels. So he has not had a very good time. In his last 7 starts, his ERA is 8.59. The Blue Jays have a chance today to just beat up and catch back up and have a little revenge on the Boston Red Sox after such a rough day yesterday. So hopefully they come out the box hot against the flamethrower Walker Bueller. And Eric Lawler is on the mound for us, who has been the opposite. He's been doing really, really well for the Toronto Blue Jays and really is every passing start solidifying this fifth spot for him. He has allowed his last uh, 7 starts, or 7 games rather, because they wasn't all starts. He's only allowed 7 earned runs with a 1.08 whip. So really, really good to see somebody be one of the funner stories in Major League Baseball, because he had a rough year and they went to Korea, obviously figured something out. Blue Jays bring him into spring training, and here he is doing the wonderful things that he's doing. So it'll be a good matchup today. Obviously, the Red Sox have not faced him too much outside of Trevor Story. For some reason, has 22 at bats against him. I'm assuming that's because of National League isms. Trevor Story is going to be the man to avoid. He somehow has 3 home runs in those 22 at bats as well. Flip side, Blue Jays have not faced Walker Buehler enough. 6 at bats from George Springer, has 1 home run. Outside of that, everybody is basically way under that in at bats against Buehler. Him being injured and playing for the Dodgers over the last few years definitely did not steer that in that direction. But yeah, that's it, Blue Jays fans. Once again, I just wanted to make sure, all respects. I have best wishes to the family. Dave Parker, again, wonderful baseball player. And if you have not seen highlights of Dave Parker and his career, please check out the documentary stuff that's been coming up over the last days. Check out him swinging a bat with a sledgehammer, or warming up with a sledgehammer in the on deck circle. He was a fun, interesting character in Major League Baseball, and he should be heralded as one of the best. So glad to see he's going into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. I do greatly wish he was able to make his speech. I think it would have been a fun one. On that note, catch you later, Blue Jays fans. Check out jaybirdwatching.com and make sure you hit those like, share, subscribe buttons for Jaybird Watching and here at Jay's Latest. And we'll talk Blue Jays baseball all the time. Cheers, everybody. Bye.